Hey, Grandpa, I found this really cool shirt in your closet. I didn't know you were part of the military. Huh? That wasn't the military. That was back in the good old days of YouTube. YouTube? Yes, YouTube. There was a guy we used to watch. Used to do really fun videos. And then this guy, this boy, wore one of his shirts just like the one you're wearing. Took a couple pop shots at then a future and a past president. Okay, yeah, sure, Grandpa. Whatever you say. Believe it or not, it did happen. Unfortunately, that was part of the reason he stopped it and why YouTube started to fall apart. Man, I miss those days. Okay, Grandpa, quit fantasizing that you're still in the 20s. Yeah? Well, one day, you'll wish you were back in the 20s with me. Hey heathens, it's Gundidi. And do you guys miss Demolition Ranch as much as I do? Man, God, that was such a good show. But you know, things change and who knows, maybe one day another YouTuber will pop off and fill in that void that Matt left for all of us. But till then, you guys are stuck with me. This week we're going to check out a new gun that I think is kind of neat. And I think it's interesting that they made it, being that they already have a gun of this stature on their roster. I thought that the Springfield Echelon was going to kill off the Springfield XD platform. Both are made by HS Product, and both are not flagships, but kind of the workhorses of Springfield's lineup. So I figured that the Echelon was going to kill off the XD. Well, they introduced the Springfield XD Mod 3, and honestly, I like it a lot better than the old XDs. It is an optics ready pistol. It's got a fiber optic front sight, 4-inch barrel. It's got a 2-dot rear sight. It's kind of hard to see those 2 dots on camera here. Full-size grip with a 16-round magazine capacity. So comparing it size-wise to the Echelon, it's a bit smaller than the Echelon. I'm not sure if you could see that on camera or not, but it's a bit smaller than the Echelon in a little bit of different metrics, but grip-wise and barrel length-wise, it's honestly about the same size as the Springfield Echelon. Now the Echelon holds 17 rounds in its standard magazine, and this one holds 16 in its standard magazine. What's really cool is the price tag. These guys are introduced as the Defender series, so they are super budget friendly. You can get these cheaper than a lot of tourist pistols. And it's a Springfield XD made by HS Products, so you know it's a good quality pistol, and it holds a large magazine capacity. And being that it's optics ready is definitely a huge update compared to the older XD lineups. But how does it compare to the Springfield Echelon? That's what we're here today to find out. So let's go ahead and get some rounds on these guys and see how they shoot. All right, so we're fully loaded up with 9mm in the Springfield XD Mod 3 and in the Springfield Echelon. So we're going to go ahead and shoot them back to back. See if the XD is still the reigning champ of the Springfield lineup, or if the Echelon has knocked it down a couple paces. But we're going to go ahead and put a couple rounds on target, see how she feels, and go from there. So we are shooting just full metal jacket, nothing crazy today, but we're going to pop off a few rounds and see how she does. All right, so I don't know if you can see it on camera, but what's really neat is there's like some smoke coming out the back end of this firearm as I'm shooting. Interesting, just interesting setup there. Let's go ahead and pop off a couple rounds with the Echelon and see if it feels any different in recoil. Honestly, the XD actually feels a little bit more snappy than the Echelon. That's my opinion. It just feels a little bit more snappy. The Echelon, I think it's because of the way the grip texture is on the Echelon. It just feels much softer in the recoil in comparison to the XD. The XD just seems a little snappier. That's my opinion. Honestly though, the trigger feels great in this thing. Once we empty out these rounds, I'll show you that trigger, but the trigger feels actually really good in this Springfield XD. All right, let's go ahead and pop off these rounds pretty quickly, and I'll show you the trigger and see what you guys think. All right, so slide did not lock back, but my thumbs do tend to ride high, so I might have knocked that slide release, not realizing it. But other than that, it functions perfectly fine. I think what's burning off is the lubrication on this gun. All right, let's go ahead and finish off the rounds on the Echelon. All right, so first shot's opinion on the Springfield XD. It's a little bit snappier than the Echelon is, in my opinion. You guys might feel otherwise, but I just feel like the Echelon, the way the grip is designed, it just feels a lot cleaner on that recoil than the XD. The XD just seems snappy, aggressive. It's not bad. It's very extremely reasonable. But in comparison, I say the Echelon just feels a little bit better. But I'm also partial to the Springfield Echelon because it is mine and I've put a lot of rounds through this guy. But it is a pretty nice pistol. Like I said, it does have a really nice trigger. So let's go ahead and show you that trigger real quick. All right, so firearm is clear, completely empty, completely clear. Woo, look at that. You can see the sky through there. Completely empty, completely clear. Let's go ahead and see that trigger. It's got, of course, you got to knock down that grip safety. That is a negative to the XD compared to the Echelon. There is a grip safety. So if you don't like grip safeties, go with the Echelon. But let's go ahead and knock down that grip safety. There's a little bit of take up to get to a wall. Little bit of pressure, a little bit of creep, and then a break. It's not a bad trigger at all. It's actually pretty nice. Let's go ahead and see that reset. Really long. Well, it felt really long. Doesn't look very long. Let's bring it back. You do have to creep back to that wall. And then the break. Let's go ahead and see that reset one more time. Yeah, a little long. Got to bring it back to that wall. And then the break. Not a bad trigger. Very reasonable trigger. Let's go ahead and compare that to the Springfield Echelon's trigger. Of course, completely empty. You can see daylight through there. Let's go ahead and compare that. Little bit of take up to get to a wall. Little bit of pressure. Tiny bit of creep. And then a break. Let's go ahead and see that reset. Very quiet reset. And then break. Let's go ahead and see that again. Very quiet. Not very tactile. And then your break. Comparing the reset to the XD, audible and tactile. So they both have their pluses and minuses. I think the Echelon's a little cleaner, quicker of a trigger, but that reset is a lot harder to feel on the Echelon. Granted, I have not had a problem with any reset problems with this, but it is just something to point out. All right, something I want to cover real quick is they are very similar guns, the Springfield XD and the Echelon. They are both ambi controls. So you have ambi magazine releases. This one only has a slide release on the left side of the gun, so you lefties will have to reach over. That is a negative. While the Echelon has slide releases on both sides and mag releases on both sides. So that's something to point out. The other thing to point out is the magazine designs. They are similar, but although they are similar, they are not the same, which is something that I think Springfield and HS Product probably screwed the pooch on, because they probably could have ran the exact same magazine platform for the Echelon, and it probably would have worked just fine. And then your shooters who already have a ton of XD mags could shoot both of them with the same mags. That's what they probably should have done. But just to show you, this is the magazine out of my Springfield Echelon. This is your Springfield XD, and it does not go in. It's just a little bit too wide on the XD. Let's go ahead and show you the reverse. So here is the Springfield Echelon. This is the XD magazine, and it goes in, but it's very loose and does not actually catch the magazine catch. You probably could run it. Let's see if it'll work inside the Springfield Echelon. Like I said, it will not lock in. It's very loose. Won't lock in. Let's go ahead and see if it will even cycle around if you're holding it. No, see, it locks the slide open, doesn't allow that round to go through. So just an interesting point to point out. You cannot use the XD mags in the Echelon or vice versa. Let's go ahead and pop off a couple more rounds one-handed and just see how she feels comparing each other one-handed. All right, so we're going to pop off a couple rounds one-handed up close so you guys can see and see what you guys think. Besides my inability to hit a target. All right, so now we got the Echelon. All right, interesting. Honestly, I think the Echelon had a little bit more muzzle rise and the XD had a little less. Let's go ahead and do it back to back. Yeah, honestly, shooting them back to back, I think that the XD has a little less muzzle rise, which makes it a little quicker to get back up onto your follow-up shots. So, interesting. Even though the Echelon feels a little less snappy, the XD seems to have a little less muzzle rise, so you can keep it on target a little quicker. Interesting comparison. I wouldn't have thought that. All right, quick last but not least part of this video. I just kind of want to shoot these pretty fast succession back to back and see which one's a little bit more accurate for quick follow-up shots. Now, the Echelon uses a U-notch rear and a night sight front sight, bright and yellow. But I do have an Ameriglow on top right now, but the Ameriglow is not operational. I haven't replaced the battery in a minute. It's just a dead optic. So the optic's not playing into effect on this part of this option. So let's go ahead and shoot the XD or the Echelon first. And we're gonna pop off a couple rounds real quick into this target and see what happens. Okay, not the best accuracy, probably about 50% for me. Let's go ahead and check out the XD. Like I said, the XD has a 2-dot rear and a fiber optic front post. So let's go ahead and pop off a couple rounds and see what happens. Honestly, I think I was a little more accurate with the XD. Now, that being said, maybe the optic base got in the way. I'm making up excuses for the Echelon because I love the Echelon, but honestly, this XD is very fast to get your sights back on target. So honestly, it's a little quicker, it's a little bit easier to get back on target, and it's significantly cheaper than this Echelon. So interesting points. Let's go ahead and get everything off, and we'll go ahead and give my final first thoughts opinion. All right, so my final first thoughts on shooting them back to back is pretty much what you already heard. The XD is a little bit more snappy in the recoil, but it's faster to bring up for your follow-up shots. There's a little less muzzle rise. The Echelon is a little bit more comfortable to shoot, but it takes a little longer to bring those sights back onto your target in order to get that follow-up shot. It's a split second. There's not much of a difference, but it is enough of a difference if you are shooting competition or something like that. My opinion, if you already have an XD and you have a ton of XD magazines, I probably would go for the Mod 3. It's a good option for you. It is optics ready. I have not taken this optics plate off, so I'm not sure how the optics system works, but if it's anything like the Echelon, you should be able to run tons of different optics on there. If not, then I'm sure there's an optic that fits directly mounted to this. Interesting. But it is a interesting pistol. It is fun to shoot. Very easy to shoot. You could get those follow-up shots really quickly. And if you're on a budget or you just want to keep the magazines you already have, the XD Mod 3 is a great option for you. I really do like it. It's a really nice pistol, and I might have to pick one up for myself down the road. The Echelon. I personally love the Echelon. It's one of my favorite guns that I own. It is a much smoother in recoil pistol, but it is a lot more expensive than the Springfield XD. So it's an option for you if you're okay with spending a little bit more money. There's a lot of upgrades to the Echelon, and it's got that modular chassis system, which you can change out different frames now that they offer all kinds of different frames for it. Definitely a really neat option for you as well. So no matter which way you go, I think Springfield definitely did a good job of giving a budget-friendly option and a less budget-friendly option for you guys out there. And just to go out and have some fun at the range, or, you know, shoot some competition, or use for duty use, because both of these are on almost every roster for duty use. So interesting points to point out there. Definitely a cool pistol, definitely something you should check out. If you ever get a chance, check out the Springfield XD Mod 3. Hey guys, before you tune away, go ahead and check out the website, gundeity.com, where you can get some merch, where we have nice cool hats, we got shirts, not Demolition shirts, but we do have some really cool shirts that are pretty awesome as well. Matt, if you ever decide to come out of retirement, we'll all be waiting here to watch your stuff again. So please, if you ever decide to start making videos again, we're all waiting for it. But since there's no Matt anymore, guys, go ahead and hit a like in this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I got a lot of good videos coming out in the near future, and I try to keep this a little bit on the fun side of review content. Granted, I am no Matt Carricker, and I don't think anyone will ever replace him, but nonetheless, I'm going to do my best to make it as entertaining for you guys. And go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell icon if you haven't done that as well, so that way you can see the next video that pops up. And also, if you haven't checked out the social medias, I'll post them right here below and in the description below. So guys, go ahead and check out those. And as always, I'm Gun Deity, and I'll see you heathens for the next one.
I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Oh! And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a